fact, when I first spoke to you after you got the job, you're 17th in the league, I did ask you whether the playoffs were a possibility. You didn't rule it out, and here you are, one win away from making it.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the ride that we've been on. At that point, I wasn't sure. I think to sit in 17th and claim we're going to make the playoffs, I think would have been a big stretch. And did I believe it? Probably no. In terms of, I'm experienced enough to know there's a lot of work to be done, and there's a reason why you're 17th and you want to move up the table, and it was step by step. I think that's kind of how I put it. So we've made steps, and now we've given ourselves an opportunity, which is great. But clearly, the job isn't done yet.
Yeah. Are you treating this game almost as a playoff?
Well, it is. There's no point in hiding what's on the game. It's very clear. It's in our hands, but it's a really tough match. So we just have to, I think, focus absolutely on the opponent and what we want to do, as we do every week, and keep a pretty clear head going into the game.
A win does it. A draw might. Does that complicate things, or is it just?
It may do. It'll be different permutations on it on the day, so we'll have to be aware of that, because there's a lot that can change.
The fact that they absolutely have to win, nothing else will do for them. Is that a good thing in a way? Because they're not going to come and park the bus, you wouldn't think.
I don't know. This is 90 minutes of football plus, so there's plenty of ways to try and win a football match. So yeah, we know Middlesbrough's style. We know how they generally play. They're a good team. They've been up and around it all season. So who knows how it will affect them. We have to concentrate on what they are, what we feel they will be, the individuals in their team, their collective, their idea. You would think not many things change from what they do a lot, because we're good teams, and teams that Michael's been there a while. He's got a style of how he wants to play. They've worked all season. As I said, they've been up there, so you expect them to have their way of playing, and then we'll have to just manage the game as it goes on. Because of what's on it, it is a knockout game in effect.
Yeah, it is going to be a big occasion. It's a sellout crowd as well. How are you confident your players can cope with the occasion? Well,
yeah, hopefully, because what they've shown me since I've been here at the CBS and in other games is as a way of handling big games. This is the biggest one yet, but that's a good thing, because we're here and we didn't know we would be here. So we've got some young players. Hopefully the freshness and the youth there can maybe keep them quite free going into it and enjoy the challenge, as opposed to be overwhelmed by the challenge. That would be my message, because as I say, it's easy to say when you come from where we've come from. So let's see what we can do.
And how are the players bearing on? You obviously had two frustrating defeats, both not so what might have been in those games. How have they taken it? Yeah,
they're fine. They've been very good this week, and I think that's very important to say. There's always variables in game, like the Plymouth, the details of individual errors, a possible red card that didn't go our way. Those things can happen. You can't complain too much, because they can come along in the season. They come along at the business end for us, so that in itself is frustrating. Luton, you go down to 10 men early in the game and put in a fantastic effort and performance and organisation, and then mistake hurts you at the end of the game, and that's football. So there's no point in hanging on it too much, just understanding that those two games, they look like they looked with Plymouth, low block. Luton, the game with 10 men becomes completely different. So this comes back to a game that we should feel more, but who knows what happens in the game.
From a coach's point of view, how difficult is it dealing with individual errors? Is it something you can work on in training to try and iron out?
You have to work, but sometimes there are things you can't control as a coach, that being one of them.
You mentioned Middlesbrough. Obviously you know their manager well, Michael Carrick.
I know Michael really well, came through at West Ham with him, played against him many times, England with him. Know him well as a lad, always been one of the very good people in the game, very genuine, very down to earth, good lad, very smart. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him and going against him.
I guess they'll be hurting a little bit at the moment. You expect them to respond as a sort of wounded animal?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they're at. I don't know about respond. I think they're fighting to come here and win the game and get in the playoffs pretty much. So that's their side of it.
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously, you look at their squad, they've also got some very talented players you'll have to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. They're a very talented team. lots of players at the top end of the pitch, individual qualities and speed and quality, and yeah, very aware of that. So we have to be, we have to understand what the game is. They're a very good team here in the Championship, and we have to get ourselves right, but obviously be aware of their strengths.
And we talk about the fans a lot, but how big a part can they play in this game?
Yeah, they'll play a huge part, like they have played in our recent home games. We've played very well at home. In our last games, even Burnley, we played really well, deserved something from the game. So, we're very thankful for that. We don't take it for granted, but we know they'll be there, and it's a great inspiration for the lads, for myself, and it's part of the strength of this football club, our fan base, home and away. So we'll want to deliver for them, and I know they'll be trying to help us as much as they can.
And your squad's been stretched of late. How are you looking for this one?
Yeah, we're okay. We'll see how we come out tomorrow, because it's a big game. So I'm not going to divulge too much. We will be giving everything on the day with the squad.
And it could be. It's hopefully it won't be the last game of the season, of course, but it could be. How do you reflect on your first sort of partial season here at Coventry City? How much you learned about the club and the team?
I've learned a lot, and in a short time. It'd be better to reflect after tomorrow, because it's so pivotal. It won't mean terrible season, because we've clearly made progression. It feels that way. We've made progression, and there's a lot more progression, no matter what. No matter win or lose tomorrow, draw, make it, win the playoffs, don't win the playoffs, whatever happens, we're going to want to get better. That's what I always want to do. So whether that's me, what job can I do, and my staff, players, recruitment, squad, trying to strengthen. But it'll be much better to reflect after tomorrow and onwards.
So Jake, how is everyone at the minute? It's one win away from the playoffs. You've got a massive game coming up. How are you all bearing up?
Yeah, no, good. We've had a good week's training. Obviously, no midweek game, so good week's training, good lot of work. So just excited going into the weekend. Same as everyone else, I'd imagine. Just looking forward to the challenge.
And you're on the back of two frustrating defeats that were a lot of circumstances involved in them. Has that had any impact on confidence and belief?
No, I think obviously initially after the game there's always a disappointment. You don't get a result, but across the season and at this stage of the season more than ever, you just need to put it behind you quickly and move on to the next one, because you say things still in our hands. And if you look back to October, November time, if someone would have offered this scenario, I think everyone would have taken it. So so there's an initial disappointment when you don't get a result, but say at this stage of the season more than ever, you need to just put it behind you and look forward, and just fully focus on looking forward and not backwards.
I guess it's like a cup tie. If you win, you're through. You need to get something from the game, and there'll be a full house there. Do you have to sort of manage the game a little bit in terms of the expectation of the crowd and the importance of the occasion?
Yeah, I think for us as players, it's just important to focus on your job. Don't get wrapped up in anything else. You need to control your emotions. There's obviously going to be a lot of that. But speaking of my experience, even at this club, I think the Birmingham game a couple of years ago was pretty much the exact same scenario. So it's up to us to go out there and perform. If we do that, that'll get the crowd going. That'll give us an extra 10%. That'll really help us. But it's up to us to force that and go and perform. And
as one of the older heads, you don't mind me saying, certainly you've experienced these sort of games before, as you just said. But some of the younger players, and it's all quite new too. Are you having to sort of help them a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's been the case across the season. Really, just try and pass your experiences down when you can. But you say for us, it's just business as usual. We've got a process and a way of working that we try and stick to, and it's more important than ever now that we do that. You don't need to deviate away from that and start doing different things and running all over the place. It's just focus on what your job is, do it well, and collectively I'm sure that'll give us a positive result if we apply that properly.
I mean, are you surprised at where you find yourselves? Because earlier in the season, you look back to November, you looked like you might be involved in a relegation battle, never mind challenging for the playoffs. Are you surprised at how much you've managed to rise the table?
No, I'm not surprised. I think if you would have said at the start of the season, I think everyone would have seen us more, hopefully would have seen us more at this end than the other end. So we've probably battled our way back into a position where, or more of a position where people would have hoped and expected us to be. But you know, that's the Championship. It's you say it's a roller coaster. It's up and down all the way through. But say we managed to battle our way back to a really positive position, and we've got one game, one performance to go and get it over the line, and you know, we'll go from there.
And is the focus all on a win, because a draw could potentially be enough? Does that complicate things at all?
No, I think any game we go into this year, every game we've been set up to go and win. So from that point of view, it'll be no different. You know, you want to go and win the game, and then you know, you're looking at the table, that will more than likely be enough for us. So you say that's been the setup throughout the season. You say that's not going to change going into tomorrow.
And from a personal point of view, you've been sort of vying for that left back spot. Obviously, on this occasion, Jay's suspended, so I guess it is yours. But how have you found the season and that competition with Jay?
Yeah, I think I've said earlier in the season, you know, if you want to go and achieve something in this league, you need a squad. You know, the gaffer said many times earlier in the season that everyone's going to be needed to play their role, and that's proven the case. You know, I think you think back to Pato's goal when he comes on, gets us 3 points. You know, them contributions, everyone has been needed. So, from my point of view, that position is no different. Me and Jay have both played at different times. And you say when you're challenging at the top end of the league, you've got a strong squad. You know, you just got to enjoy the challenge and be ready when you are called upon.
And that squad has been tested, I guess, so that quite a few injuries. It's been sort of all hands to the pump, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think that proves the point. I think a couple of years ago when we had a smaller squad, you think if we had the same amount of injuries then, you know, we really would have been down to the bare bones sort of thing. But you look at the lads that have come in recent weeks and contributed. It's took a massive effort from everyone, and you know, I'm sure that'll be the case tomorrow, and then hopefully onwards as well.